a Fantasia with contemporary music at the time, but why is it semi-lost to the public? Why is it not very easy to access in the way that it is not on Disney's streaming service? What are the reasons? Make Mine Music is an interesting film. And Make Mine Music premiered on April 20th, 1946 at the Globe Theater in New York City. During World War II, many of the staff at the Disney studio were drafted into the war, and those that weren't drafted were left making the propaganda films for the American government. And due to this, there were a slew of anthology films due to unfinished ideas. Make Mine Music was made up of those unconnected stories tied to music. These anthology films were created so that the feature film division didn't sink. So they released a lot of feature films, and then honestly, without the American government's funding, I don't know if Saludos Amigos or Three Caballeros could have been made. So then we have kind of this slew of anthology films. So we have Make Mine Music, Fun and Fancy Free, and then I believe the next one is Melody Time. And these ones, I guess, were made just because it was the height of the war when they were in production. And Make Mine Music was entered into the 1946 Cannes Film Festival in Cannes, France. And the animation used in the Blue Bayou segment is the scrapped segment for Claire de Lune from Fantasia, which is very interesting that they created this entire segment and they eventually cut it. And then they were like, okay, well, let's make a song for it, for Make Mine Music, so that we can use this segment still. And it made about $1.1 million in its first week, adjusted for inflation, and made about $54.2 million worldwide when adjusted for inflation. And the film was praised by critics at the time for its animation, music, and artistic qualities. Like many of the other anthology films, Make Mine Music was never re-released into theaters, but the different segments would be released separately or used as segments on the various Disney TV programs. So, I think when the Disney Channel first launched, or maybe even farther into the Disney Channel, but I know that they would use them as segments in, the Disneyland ABC show, and the Wonderful World of Disney ABC show, and maybe on the Mouseketeers, too. I have no idea, but that's kind of the thing, is that they wouldn't really use, it wouldn't be re-released into theaters in the same way, except for apparently the studio, when RKO was still distributing, they still had a contract with them, and this is kind of near the end, so I'd say this is about maybe 1951 to 1952, maybe-ish, because after Peter Pan, I believe Peter Pan was the last one actually produced or distributed by RKO. And this was monumental, actually, because they wanted to break in the contract. They did not, Disney did not want to do this anymore with RKO, and they still had one last film. And you know what they did? They took segments from Melody Time and from Make Mine Music, and they smashed them together and edited them together, and they made, I don't actually remember what it was called, but they basically made a weird mishmash anthology film of the two. And they did that, and they released it into theaters. And they're like, here, RKO, here's your last picture under our contract. And so that's what they did. They said, here, RKO, this is our last picture under the contract, and now we're done. And that version, that movie has been lost to time. It is lost media. I'm guessing because we can watch all the segments somehow. I mean, if you're interested in watching Make My Music, it was not very hard to find on Internet Archive. So I know it's not on Disney Plus. Do I not know why it's on Disney Plus? No, I have no idea why it's not on Disney Plus. But it is the only Disney animated movie to not be on Disney Plus. Like, solely animated movie to not be on Disney Plus, which I find very interesting. And all of the segments from Make My Music have been released on home video, all except for Without You and The Martins and the Coys. Ironically, the different segments were released on different VHS collections. So, yeah. So, it's weird because they would be released on, like, different short film collections. So, they were basically broken up and then released on different short film collections, which I don't understand. I don't know why Without You wasn't released, but I know that the actual VHS and DVD release of the film was in 2000, but the Martins and the Coys segment was edited out due to the comical gunplay, and the sexualized imagery in All Cats Join In was also edited out, which makes sense because there were some moments where I was like, because you sit and you watch it because you have your kind of head going in onto why is it not on Disney Plus? Why is it not on Disney Plus? And your head goes and your head spins. But that's the thing, is Disney could have the edited version on Disney Plus. So I don't know why they haven't put it on Disney Plus. Okay. The article I found said Jack Squat. And essentially a lot of what people are saying is that, like, from what my cursory online research, it seems like a lot of people are questioning why, and no one has answered that question. So I'm gonna get an answer, if I can. Hey, if anyone watching this works at Disney or knows someone who works at Disney, if someone could get an answer as to why this movie, because I would honestly be fine if it was the edited version. I just don't understand why it's not on Disney Plus. And yeah, because in my research, I was not able to find any backlash to anything except for the edited. One theory that I have is that because these were so cheaply made, it might not have been preserved very well. That is my theory, is that it might not be because of, but it might just be because it just can't digitally enhance. I don't know. I have no idea, because people have, there is a DVD of it. And so maybe it's just like I don't know. Or maybe it's just one that fell through the cracks. I have no idea. Maybe it's one that's fallen through the cracks and they don't want to admit that. I don't know. But there's some movies that just aren't on Disney Plus. One of them, and this isn't the Elton John Rocket Man. This is Disney's Rocket Man. It's funny. It's a funny movie. It's a decent movie. And I think it flopped so bad that they just put it away and said never again. But if you find Rocket Man online, it's a fun movie. Or if you decide to buy it for yourself, it's a fun movie. It's a good watch. But Make My Music is also a good watch. If you want to give a corporation your money, feel free. That's your prerogative. My opinion is you can find it on Internet Archive. So, yeah, but this one, that's all the history I have. Because I don't have a reason why, and this movie doesn't really have much to its name.
The one that was like Fantasia that we watched.
What do you mean?
Well, I was just asking beforehand, because this one kind of does a lot of what we talked about, where it's like they learned from Fantasia in what they should do to improve and do something better. And I think this one, in my opinion, kind of takes it over. I mean, you think of like the Peter the Wolf story was really good. I don't know the one that's drawn, the one that was very, 40s style and all hand drawn.
I can't remember what
Yeah,
it's
with the
called.
pencils. Yeah.
Someone's tripping upstairs.
And all of the others, where it's very clear that they took a lot of the ideas of music with animation that Fantasia started and played more into it, I hope you plan on cutting that out.
Just for kicks and giggles, I might leave it.
Somebody farted.
We should start a podcast. Anyway, so I forgot to say it, but we just finished Make Mine Music. And I think that we talked about Saludos Amigos kind of being like Fantasia with the segments.
Yeah.
But Make Mine Music does something that Fantasia doesn't, where it doesn't drag. It knows its place, and even segments that aren't as strong, it doesn't,
It doesn't overstay itself.
Yeah, like there was that Hatfields and McCoy one that, I'll be honest, wasn't the greatest, and it was the first one, and they were building to something for sure. Okay. Because the later segments are so good. In fact, oh my gosh, those last few segments are so good. The Andrews sister, hey, I'm not done speaking. Okay. The Andrews Sisters song was fantastic, and I think I loved it. And I can't remember what we have coming up next, but we have these kind of more anthology films, and I think that that's what they kind of did. This is kind of in my opinion, this is the Fantasia, the contemporary Fantasia of the time. So this would be like if they made a Fantasia today where it's just like contemporary music.
I was also going to say, one thing that I think I did notice is there was a little bit of a bump partway through, but generally it was very clear that they knew how to organize these animations a lot better. Because the first one, like she mentioned, is kind of a strikeout. It's kind of okay. It's pretty dated and is okay. But then it gets a little bit better, and then a little bit better. And then it's pretty much from Peter and the Wolf onwards, they're just really good. And they start to really improve it. And I think that really shows to the point where when the end of the whale one happens, we both were like, oh, that's it? There's nothing more? I don't know if it was you. I was kind of I was up for watching more. I was okay with that.
Yeah, that was me. I think I was that's it. That's the end of it. So, yeah, the beginning, though, kind of felt a little draggy, but it didn't overstay its welcome to the point where I was like, oh my gosh, can we have this movie end, please? But I kind of the ballet one was gorgeous. I loved the ballet one. The one with, the jazz one was cool, where they had, the kind of, it was kind of very abstract, but when they had, fingers dancing on the piano, that was a little wacky. But
I could tell it was abstract, so they were trying to experiment, and I'll give them points for that.
Yeah, but at one point, I kind of was enjoying, and I tuned out, and then I tuned back in, and I was like, what is going on here? My consciousness came back. I gained consciousness again, and I was like, what is going on with this? the way, oh my gosh, I can't, the bonnet and the fedora.
Yeah.
The Johnny fedora and Alice Blue bonnet. That was really cute. And the Andrew Sisters song was really, really cute. Oh, the beginning. You really liked the one with the rain.
Yeah, with the rain and they had the window shot. I thought the song was very, very beautiful. The song choices in this one, just by adding the audio and stuff, like having a person actually sing, I think did a lot more in making it engaging. Not to say that classical music without it is boring, because I love classical music, but sometimes Fantasia, and I don't mean to compare it to Fantasia because it is its own thing, but Fantasia does a lot of abstractness, which is a good thing, right? It was meant to be experimental, and it sometimes makes it a little bit hard to watch because it's so abstract with classical music and you get almost a little bit bored and tired. While this one, it was either they had very predominant, very focused vocals, like in the, I don't know if it had a name, the one with the window seal and it's got the zoom in with all the ice.
It was something about a tear.
Yeah, something like that. I forgot the name of it, but that one was very heavily vocal based, and so they were able to have more abstract visuals because it's all meant to be symbolic of what he is singing about. And then on the inverse of that, you have Peter and the Wolf, which is basically mostly music with a narrator trying to help it so that you're not lost in the story. So I think it was all pretty good overall.
Yes, I agree. I was thinking about another one. I can't remember what it was, but oh yes, I remembered what I wanted to say. So the Blue Bayou scene is actually the deleted segment of Claire de Lune or at least a lot of that segment. I don't know if that segment was fully finished before it was cut, but it is predominantly the Claire de Lune segment that got cut from Fantasia. So yeah, I think that this one just does so many things. Oh, the last segment. The whale segment. Oh my goodness. I loved it. I am a classical music girly, especially classical singing. And so it really warmed my classical singing heart. And that's the thing is, if you have classical singing, I'm sat and I'm there. I'm there and I'm sat and I have my popcorn. And that's just how I am. And so to me, and I hate to say this, but this tier list is our personal opinions. So I put this one above Fantasia. Above Fantasia, but before Saludos Amigos. Above Fantasia and above Saludos Amigos.
I'd say it's a close argument for Saludos Amigos. I think Saludos Amigos is a much better competition for Make Mine Music than Fantasia is. I think if we were I mentioned this earlier before we were recording, but if we were going by just pure history to Disney, I feel like Fantasia beats them out of the three. But I feel like Saludos Amigos probably does it the best with just personality and character. All of the different parts feel more cohesive, feel more connected. But Make Mine Music also, even though they are all separate segments, they really do a lot by themselves. And they really mean a lot by themselves. So I think Saludos beats them out, but it's pretty close.
This is my tier list. And I have definitive say. I say that this because the problem is that Aquara do Brazil scene. That's my problem. Is that Aquara do Brazil scene is very, very creative, but that's one section of an entire movie. I don't know. I'll think it over. But I do think this at least gets above Fantasia. I'm willing to put Saludos Amigos above it. But Three Caballeros is still in C tier. You cannot convince me otherwise. But yes, he's got his little lip out and he's sad about that. But like, even he admits that that movie dragged a bit. And even we admit that there are things that could have been done at the end that would have been better. So, other than your LSD trip. So, Make Mine Music, I think, is just a beautiful film. In my research, I'll figure out why it's not on Disney+. Because it's not on Disney+.
We have some theories.
We have some theories. However, we don't truly know. And so I'll probably figure that out in my research. And I found it on Internet Archive. So if you're wanting to watch this and you don't want to shell out money to rent it on like little, if they do even have it to rent, because I don't know. So if you can't find it anywhere, we found it on Internet Archive. My one gripe with Internet Archive is sometimes the audio was a little bit shoddy and some of the shots were a little bit fuzzy. But other than that, it worked perfectly fine and it was pretty clear most of the time. So, yeah, if I could right now, I mean, I know that right now YouTube's not letting me put links in the description, like outside links outside of YouTube. But in the future, if they let me, then maybe I can revise this and put the link to where I found my version of Make Mine Music in the description. But it is not very hard to find on Internet Archive because it took me like 2 seconds. And so if it's not on Disney Plus in the future, just assume I'm going to use Internet Archive because that is what I am using. So that's what I've found So Dear to My Heart on, and that is also what I have found Song of the South on as well. As well as there's some of the old like Disney Toon Studio films that are not on Disney Plus for some reason. And so therefore some of them I found on Internet Archive. I think one of them I found on YouTube. Anyway, but always remember in your heart that you can be a whale that can sing 3 voice parts. Somehow. That really grossed me out.
That was kind of weird. But other than that, the whale one was great.
Yeah, other than that, that was great. And so, yeah. If you are a classical music aficionado like me, if you like older music, you're going to love this. You know, if you like that era of music, you're going to love it. That doesn't have any wax. He's playing with my diamond art right now while I'm talking. And I don't know why, because he's not putting them onto the thing, but I don't know. I'm probably going to cut this part out. Do you have anything to say to the good people?
Do good. Don't, hurt people. Be prepared to fight the wolves in your lives. Even at the sacrifice of your friend Sonia, who's not actually dead, who comes back later. Oops, spoiler.
Rest in peace, Sonia. That was really fun for us because they're in Peter and the Wolf. They're like, and everybody lived happily except for the wolf. And I was like, and Sonia. But don't worry, Sonia's okay, everybody. Mm-hmm. But like they did an entire thing where like Sonia went to heaven.
Yep.
And I'm like,
it's like, are we just forgetting about her? We're just moving on. Okay.
We're moving on from Sonia. All right. Anyway. So, yes. So just remember those things and remember that sometimes you have to wait and search to find your blue bonnet. And yeah, so.
And don't be afraid to have fights with your wife, like the McCoys and what was the other one? MacArthur's?
The Hatfields.
The Hatfields, yes.
That might be the reason why it's banned. I thought I heard stirs that that's the reason why it's banned. Or just tastefully removed.
Yeah.
But either way, I think they might have taken some of the segments and made them like shorts. Like, I swear Peter and the Wolf is on Disney Plus. But anyway, I digress. Thank you for watching. Thank you for liking. Thank you for viewing. Thank you for subscribing. I have seen a lot of growth recently, and it is very, very dear to my heart. And it means the world to me.
I guess you could say they made your music.
Nope. I make my own music. Because I write my own music. But that's a conversation for later. But, yeah. So thank you for even just watching and liking and subscribing. It means the world to me. If you've been here and watched all of my videos, if you've been here and this is the first video you're watching, feel free to take a look at my other content. And thank you so much. Do you have anything else to say to the people?
God made you special and he loves you very much.
Okay. Bye, everyone.